Your style is basically your inability to do it any other way. Hello, I'm Anton Corbijn, photographer, filmmaker, designer, whatever. I welcome you to the show, the exhibition. In case you need to know some context, I was born a long time ago on an island in Holland, the Netherlands, and as the son of a minister of religion. Music seemed to be the only way out of that island. So when we finally moved away from that island, I dedicated all my time to useless details about musicians and music. But once I discovered music, it automatically became the focus of my camera. And that's why in the first 20 years or so, I only photographed musicians, because that was the world I wanted to be part of. Camera is a wonderful instrument to connect to people, to give yourself a purpose to say something to somebody. That's what I found when I was younger, because I was super shy. But I was somehow driven by the desire to do something with the camera, and that overrode the shyness. I found it very hard to take throwaway pictures. Even when I tried, I somehow always ended up with something that still felt valuable. You know, I came to the conclusion that what people call is your style is basically your inability to do it any other way. I wasn't searching for a style when I started taking pictures. It's just I couldn't do it any other way. But if you photograph places or people, then it's immediately a memory, and it's a situation that will never come back. Every exhibition hangs pictures of people that are no longer with us, so you become very aware of the loss, and I'm very grateful that I've met all these people. So when I moved here in '79, it was fantastic, because it was just when the Clash came out with London Calling, the Jam had a new album out, and the band I liked the most was the Joy Division, and I somehow managed to photograph them within 10 days of moving to England. When I was younger, I was much more principled. I wouldn't shoot certain people because they were commercially successful or whatever. You know, I regret that sometimes that I was so strict. You know, that didn't fit in my this description of what a good musician was. Like Wham, I didn't like Wham, but actually George Michael was a super nice guy, and I liked him a lot. U2 similarly, I was interested in them in '82. I can't imagine my life without them. So Depeche Mode, you know, I met them in '81, and I thought they were a bunch of, you know, young kids with throwaway songs. So they asked me a few times to do their photographs for the press, and I refused. And in '86, they asked me to do a video, and there was absolutely no budget. So I had to film it myself, and after that my films became a little bit less like still photographs, a bit more movement. But I made, you know, close to 100 videos, so that kind of prepared me to make a film. It was friends of mine who said, well, you know, your videos are like little stories, you should make a movie. And then I got scripts sent, and I realized there were so many proper directors out there who would make a good movie out of this, but I wasn't one of those. Until the story of Ian Curtis came around, and then I thought, well, if I ever make a movie, this is the one, probably, because I have so much emotions by the story that maybe overrides the technical knowledge of proper directors. So that's why I dared to make a movie with the Ian Curtis story. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't have any advice apart from make what you want to make. You know, if you try to make what other people want you to make, then you're already, you know, a step behind.